Hi, I'm Ryan Blair. I'm author of the New York Times best-selling book, Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm here to talk about my book. Thanks for listening. Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain is about my story of how I applied a mindset of having nothing to lose toward building businesses. And it really kicks off in December of 2009 when we had just, we were right about to shut the doors of my company, ViSalus. I'd sold it to a public company in August of 2008 for a $100 million deal. I got filthy rich, and then the recession wiped it out, and my multi-year earnout and my $100 million was gone. And I had to put all the cash that I had to my name back into it, as well as my co-founders. So we put our last $1 million in the company each. We were down to $600,000 a month in sales, less than $600,000 in cash, and so we had less than a month to live, and $7 million in debt. So not a good balance sheet. And the public company that acquired us wrote it off. So we rallied behind it and applied a nothing to lose mindset. And I document kind of back and forth about how I built businesses, and I've built a number of them in the book. So I go into a lot of detail on it. That company now does over $1 million a day in sales. It is extremely profitable, and it'll soon be a big national story once the acquisition of the public company concludes in a few months here. So that's it. Why did I write Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain? That's a great question. I wrote it because I'm an advocate for the entrepreneur, and because I learned about entrepreneurship as a high school dropout. I ended up going back to high school and then getting some college. But I really, entrepreneurship was my way out of poverty. And I was so dumbfounded that no one teaches the subject. And frankly, most business books out there aren't worth the paper that they're written on. So I wrote it because I wanted to add to the genre of entrepreneurial thought and create a conversation around entrepreneurship and really inspire a generation of millions of people to become entrepreneurs. Who is my audience for Nothing to Lose, Everything to Gain? Anyone who hates their job, dreams of being a rock star multi-millionaire, or wants to understand how an entrepreneur thinks. And I believe everyone should want to understand that, because your jobs are provided by entrepreneurs, your cars are created by them, your books, everything. This, in fact, internet channel that you're on right now is an entrepreneurial vision. So I think everyone should learn about the subject of entrepreneurship. What initially got me involved in a street gang was I lost my dad, and my mom had a tough time with alcoholism. My brothers and sisters had all disappeared when I was 13 years old. And at the age of 13, my sister's best friend, my first crush, Jennifer Jordan, was murdered in a drive-by shooting on my street. So I naturally joined the rivalry against the gangs that were targeting her, and us for that matter. So I didn't have a choice. I got jumped in. I got forced in. And then, as soon as I did have a choice to get out, I made a choice to leave. The way I extracted myself from gang life, and my advice to the kids I mentor, is you have to get out. I got a job. I left the neighborhood. I was lucky in that my mother ended up dating a guy who was a very successful entrepreneurial icon in our community, and so I had a lot of luck head my way, and then I took a shot and I took advantage of that luck, and now I try to be that luck to a lot of people I mentor today. What was it that got me on the right track? Literally, when my mom started dating that entrepreneur, I got on my knees and prayed and said, if this is my way out of the hell that I'm in, and the poverty that I'm in, and the fear of being shot, and fear of going to prison, and fear that my mother would be hurt because the rival gangs were targeting her, I knew I had one shot, and it's kind of like that 8 Mile Eminem song goes, you get one shot. And so I took the shot, and I've continued taking shots ever since. What about being a juvenile delinquent has helped me later in life? Well, now I'm an adult delinquent. I think that I learned a lot of things. I learned leadership. I apply organizational leadership. My business, ViSalus, is a multi-tier incentive-based compensation structure, much like all corporations are. But there's a lot of things that I've learned and I apply as a result of seeing street gangs, seeing economics, seeing how street gangs are really illegal entrepreneurs, and some are very big illegal companies, and some are small little startups. So it mirrors a street gang, and systems of poverty mirror systems of wealth much more than the middle class does. Because on the street, people in poverty, they work hard, they hustle, and they make money taking large risks. And that's the same thing that you see in the wealthy neighborhoods. In the middle, you don't see that. You see comfort. So that's the reason why I think you see so many rags to riches stories that emerge from rags. My educational background is I have ADD, as you probably can tell from the dialogue here. I have dyslexia, but I did discover that I had the ability to auditorily remember nearly everything, including tonalities, words, and so forth, which is kind of a pain when you actually prefer not to remember certain things. But as a result of that, when I actually did go back to school, I went to continuation high school. I dropped out because I was in trouble all the time. Then I went to a community college to get my try to get my GED or my high school diploma. And then from there, I learned about this learning ability that I had because I would record the classes, and if I could play that tape, I could retain everything the professor said, and then ace the test. So all of a sudden, I'm on the dean's list, and then I'm transferring to a school called Cal Lutheran University, at which time I started my first startup, 24/7 Tech, got that company to start having some success, and then left to become a full-time entrepreneur while I was about a senior. How did I start my first company? I started as an entrepreneur in the 1999 timeframe, and if you recall, that was the first dot-com bubble, when all you had to do is, figure out a way for every dog in China to show up on your Excel spreadsheet, and you get $1 billion for it in an IPO. So I wanted to get into technology. I wanted to make a lot of money, and I got the entrepreneurial bug. I think a lot of people have it. I worked on it at night. I had a day job. I was a software engineer, and I worked in a firm that was producing software products, hence the reason why I have significant technology investments. So I got the bug. I worked on it at night, at home. I got passionate about it, and then I ventured off on my own. How many companies have I founded to date? The first was 24/7 Tech. Then there was Sky Pipeline, which we sold to Covad. Then I founded Path Connect, which was recently sold. And then Path Connect was sold to Solution X, which I was technically a founder in that organization. We just sold Solution X to iCentrix. FragMob is one that I'm technically a founder of with Jade Charles. That company's got a lot of promise. It's brand new. Ski Space with BodyByVi I was a founder of. That one we're working on. Wow, I was ViSalus. Am I missing any? I don't know. There's probably another 10 more that are out there that I have significant investments in. Some of them I can't tell you yet. Some are going to make some big splashes in the short term, and all we work on. So I don't know, 10. What draws me to a startup idea? I've been very critical of VCs because I was, in the room with institutional investors, and they stole my milk. It's an expression I use in the book when someone takes something from you that they shouldn't. And so I get drawn to the entrepreneur. I want to be the advocate. I want to be the Sean Parker for an entrepreneur. And using the popular movie Social Network as the context here, I just want to work with great entrepreneurs that have great ideas. They're going to work 18 hours a day. They're going to do their best. That are smart, and then I'll help build an organization around them, give them money. In fact, I haven't announced this yet, but I've set up a $20 million venture fund to work with entrepreneurs. So if you're out there, send me your business plan. Speaking of business plans, I have said that they are a waste of time. What's the alternative? A business plan, a business is a multivariable economic engine. In ViSalus, for example, I might have to deal with 400 variables of economics that matter. And so understanding those variables, a business model is really the best business plan. And I'll give you my approach to it. So for example, I have a business model that is extremely intricate, and there's all kinds of dependencies. And if I tweak one variable 0.5%, it spits out $50 million more into my pocket. So when you know that if I tweak this variable 0.5%, then you go, okay, what's the plan to tweak the variable? Right? So those are the types of plans that I like to see. Plans where I can understand the drivers. I hate these plans that are, they're written with a bunch of, I don't know, just crap and buzz terms and stuff like that. So when I get those plans, I don't read them. But I love to see a plan that's to the point, that's direct, that shows the entrepreneur's knowledge of the variables that are driving their industry, their business, the macro environment, perhaps even the economic environment. And when I meet those entrepreneurs, I tend to invest in them. What is one message I hope others take away from my story? You got nothing to lose. Right now our economy is falling apart globally and nationally. You have huge issues right now. The jobs plan is not going to fix our problem, $250,000 per job. No one is actually making sense politically right now. I mean, not business sense. And there's a lot of manipulation out there. So I hope we can create a conversation about the subject of entrepreneurship and fix some of these problems, because I'm worried that, that we're going to have a very poor balance sheet as a system because of this manipulation and everything else. So I've thrown my hat into the ring. I'm creating hundreds of jobs right now as we speak, and I'm doing it without stimulus. So I'm trying to get a lot of other entrepreneurs to do the same thing, take themselves off the jobs needed list and help others do the same, create good companies that solve big problems, and make the world a better place. What would I speak about at a corporate event or conference? I'm knowledgeable in a number of areas. I know a lot about business. I know a lot about motivating myself internally. I know about inspiring employees. I know a lot about culture. So I can speak on a variety of topics. I'm not the type of person, though, that wastes my time because I have such a significant business right now. I'd only really work with an organization or a conference where I really got excited about it, and I thought that I could contribute to their value system and then perhaps, make the world a better place. So that's pretty much my technique for speaking gigs. Is I got to get behind the company and care about what they're doing, and then I'm going to write something just for them, not give you some canned speech. Who are my role models in life? I have a number of them. My 2.5-year-old son, Reagan, I know it's weird to call him a role model, but he teaches me how to laugh. He and I just go yelling and kicking and screaming and roll around on the floor and just. So my son is kind of my role model to an extent. Coach John Wooden mentored me. Coach Dale Brown from LSU fame has mentored me. Bob Gergen, my partner at Blythe, and the chair of the Wharton School of Entrepreneurship, or the Gergen School of Entrepreneurship at Wharton, rather. I've got a lot of role models out there. So, I look up to a lot of people. And, Tony Hsieh, for example, is a role model to me, what he's done at Zappos. And I've had the privilege to be able to pick his brain a few times. And I can tell you, there's a lot of role models out there. Another fan asked me about business models that were spot on. Mahalo is spot on. You guys are doing the right thing by viewing this content and the other content resources that they have. Follow this company. It's up to big things. I'm a big fan of it. I think that anything that's social media, that is sharing, that is creating context, that is creating conversation, is spot on right now. The world is changing fast, and I'm excited to be a part of that. Do I think social media is essential to the growth of businesses today? I'm going to give you another way to think about this. If your customers were your friends, would you have better retention of your customers? The answer is probably yes. Businesses need to start treating their customers as their friends, doing business the way they would with their friends. And social media is friending and communicating and connecting and having a relationship. That's what it is. So I think if you're not making heavy investments in social media, you will not be in business a few years from now. And I have a number of companies that I'm starting and launching that are very disruptive to some of you not writing big checks right now to get in the game. As a successful entrepreneur, do I feel giving away the secrets in my book are the best way to share the wealth? Yeah, I think that's probably the best way I can share it. I want to see the world be a better place. I want to see companies do better. I want to see companies, stop lying and stop misleading, and the only way to do that is to put it on paper. And I'll hand you my culture. I'll hand you my knowledge. I'll show you my flaws, and I'll tell you what I'm working on, because I want a number of people to do the same thing I'm doing, and that is create good companies that solve big problems. So, I'm hoping you'll join me in this action. Can anyone become a successful entrepreneur? Now, this is the bad news. The answer is no. A successful entrepreneur does not have employee programming belief systems, or they have minimal of them. What I mean by that is, you might have been programmed generationally that you're supposed to wake up every day at 7, show up to the office at 8, work maybe half the day, complain at the coffee pot for the other half, mess around on Facebook for the other half, and then go home and then bitch about your job all day long, and then sit around the family dinner table and do some more of that. And then, that might be you. And if that's the case, you'll never be an entrepreneur. Unless you reprogram yourself. And you can do that. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of looking in the mirror. It takes some humility. And when you do that, and you reprogram your belief systems, as I did, you then can be a successful entrepreneur. So the answer is anyone can be a successful entrepreneur who is mentally capable of reprogramming themselves and growing themselves. What will I be tackling next? I was at an event at The Economist, and I was there with Tony Hsieh, and we were having this dialogue about, solving some pretty big problems. And he inspired me so much with what he's doing with his Las Vegas project that I'm going to build a city of my own. So I'm making some significant investments in some historic buildings in and around the Hollywood area. And I want to rebrand some of the old Hollywood and do some interesting projects in and around my ViSalus economy and ecosystem. So I'm breaking on some big projects, and I'm tackling some big problems with some big solutions. If you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur, the first step is to buy a book. Read everything you can and start studying entrepreneurs. Learn about them, model them, see what they do. Follow them on Facebook and on Twitter. I mean, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to have an entrepreneurial model in your life that you can study and that you can take the best practices from and then learn from and apply your own style to entrepreneurship. So the first thing is be a student, obsess about it, and learn everything you can about the art of entrepreneurship. I'd say quit whatever job you have and take an apprenticeship at an entrepreneurial run organization and just immerse yourself in the entrepreneurial belief system, mindset, and culture. This one came from a fan that asked me to answer a special question for, and yes, I do wear briefs. One of the fans out there asked me, how do they get an NTL shirt? I'll be coming out with that soon, but I want to tell you the story of it. This is actually an inspiration from the Straight Out of Compton album of NWA. The NWA was in red, you had the flag, and nothing to lose, and in fact it says mental advisory, explicit content. Bryden Landau, an amazing fashion designer, entrepreneur extraordinaire, designed this for me, and we'll be selling them on the website pretty soon. All proceeds for my book, for my shirts, all of that go to charity, all profits I should say. And the reason why is I didn't write this book or create this movement so I can make more money. I'm blessed to have that figured out, and I've done very well on that subject. I did this because I want to get people out there changing the economy. Thanks for watching me, at Ryan Blair. Connect with me on Twitter, Facebook. Go to nothingtolose.com and you can find my book and pretty much everything else you want to know about me, including some pretty humiliating pictures that were recently posted.